The Senate notes the deplorable and dangerous state of the Benin-Auchi-Lokoja Road, which links the southeast, the south-south state to the northern part of Nigeria. The contract for the construction of this road was awarded to Dantata and Savoy, RCC, Mothercat, and GIG Company in 2012 by the then President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Following cries and complaints by commuters about the hardship they encounter on this road on a daily basis. Also notes that certain portions of the road has failed completely, especially around Ekpoma and Agbede axis. And this development has caused sufferings to many Nigerians, including total economic dislocation, who rely on this route for their socio-economic activity, despite the over 200 billion naira that had been budgeted. I am not sure how much was released since the award of the contract for the reconstruction of this road. Aware that the federal government in January 2023, President Buhari, as part of the infrastructural development and refurbishment investment tax credit scheme phase, further approved the sum of 75 billion to hasten the reconstruction of the road, specifically extending from Obajana Junction to Kogi State to Benin City in Edo State. Disturbed that the pace of work on the road has actually stopped completely, not slowed down. Please kindly amend. The uncertain portion of the road has failed completely. This has become a nightmare for motorists, especially because of heavy-duty trucks that spend days on the same spot without movement, thereby preventing other vehicles from navigating their way through the road. This situation now sadly compels other vehicles to opt for longer alternative routes through Ondo State, totally out of their normal direction, in order to avoid the many kilometers of gridlocks and sometimes inability to maneuver through the failed portion. Mr. President, when I did my reception last week, this is an addition, I wanted to invite you, but I know you will be able to find your way through to my village because we are completely now cut off between Benin and Auchi. Also disturbed that transporters now hike their fares due to increased hours of time it takes for them to arrive at a journey they would otherwise spend less time to arrive at, thereby passing the buck of the passengers and travelers who now pays astronomically high fares to their destination. This situation is disheartening considering the current high cost of living that Nigerians are already grappling with. Worried that the deplorable state of the road has caused damage to properties and led to the death of numerous innocent commuters through accidents, including the one that Mr. President had to issue a condolence message, people who were wasted on that road, I believe about 2 weeks ago. Also worried that the road passes through the sites of two major economic zones, two major cement factories in Okbela, in Edo State, which attracts heavy-duty vehicular movement 24 hours of the day, throughout the year, making it very strategic route for the country's socio-economic development. Accordingly, our prayers that the Senate urge Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to grant approval for the augmentation of costs on the road through the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, pending the constitution of the Federal Executive Council for ratification. And 2, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to, as a matter of urgency, commence repairs on the failed portion of the road, drawing from the 75 billion naira approved by the immediate past president. Provide adequate funding to complete the reconstruction of the dualization of the road. Please effect amendment. And come up with a plan to settle all legal issues bordering on the dualization of the road with contractors, and also review the terms and conditions of the contract to meet current realities of inflation. Mr. President, I want to thank you for the privilege of allowing me to move this motion. I so move, sir.
Seconders.
Mr. President, I want to particularly thank you for recognizing me, and thank you to my distinguished colleagues. My name is Joel Onuabo Thomas Eumazino, representing the good people of Isoko, Izon, Ishekiri, and Urobo, the hub producing the oil of this country. Delta South Neutral District. I rise to second the motion raised by Senator Oshiomhole. And Mr. President, I will beg to be recognized to make my little bit of contribution to it. I want to thank distinguished Senator Oshiomhole for raising this motion, because it is it's happening at the right time. That particular road we are talking about is also the gateway to Delta State. It's a gateway to the northern part of Nigeria, going through Delta, through Auchi, down to Lokoja. So I think that it is something this House has to look at dispassionately, and urge the various agencies to take up remedial action on that road. I also want to say something regarding Edo State in general, as it concerns Delta State also. Most of the roads connecting Delta State, moving through Edo State, are completely cut off, especially the area between Delta, Saple Road, Ogara, to Warri is also cut off. As we discuss this, I want to include that one in this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Central. Distinguished colleagues, I thank His Excellency, the former governor of Edo State, former chairman of our great party, APC, for moving this motion. In fact, we are totally cut off, because this part of the section of the road, that Ekpoma Benin-Aziz, you can't get to any other part of Nigeria without flying that road. What of the one that leads to Agbo? You must pass through Egu, which is at the middle of the central part of that part of the region. Mr. President, I must tell you that our people are crying, because day and night accidents is happening on that road. And at the same time, you get to that part of the road 4 hours. If you want to travel to a place of just 30 minutes, you can be on that road for 4 hours. And let me tell you, sir, that over 3,000 trailers are parked on that road. That gives rooms to animals that lack water, no food, they die on that road. My fear is the epidemic that will even burst out from that particular incident on dead animals. And people are also dying on that particular road, because when you stay on the road for 4-5 days without food, what happens next? So, Mr. President, I appeal that especially Dantata and Sao should be invited, because this contract has been awarded over 12 years ago. And for me, I've not seen where Dantata and Sao have been able to construct half a kilometer of that road. So I think it is important for us to invite Dantata and Sao. And GIG company, I've not seen their presence, and I'm sure these people have collected money. Mr. President, I support my leader.
Prayer 1, urge the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to grant approval for the augmentation of costs on the road through the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, pending the constitution of the Federal Executive Council for ratification. Those who are in support of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing to, as a matter of urgency, commence repairs on the failed portions of the road, provide adequate funding to complete the reconstruction of this road, and come up with a plan to settle all lingering issues bordering on the dualization of the road with contractors, and also review the terms and conditions of the contract to meet current realities of inflation. Those who are in support of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank distinguished Senator Oshiomhole for bringing this up, and to say that yes, indeed, I have seen the long queue of trailers on that road and shown on television, not just the man-hour wasted, but the adverse effect on the economy of the nation. And the situation is so bad that it is not something that you call on FEMA. FEMA cannot handle this. So the main contract is something that we must encourage. Thank you for bringing this to the fore. And I hope the Committee on Legislative Compliance will definitely move into action to ensure that the motion we have just taken and the prayers here approved by the Nigerian Senate are actually adhered to.